Move a beam that's supporting an overhang on the roof, and I'll show you that in just a little bit, also due to termite and dry rot damage. So stand by and follow along with me and hope you learned something. Okay, and this is the large beam that's holding this overhang, and we're going to go ahead and also remove that. Okay, I'm going to shore this overhang with this 2x4s. I'm going to run one right along the edge of the rafter tails, right at the notch, the level notch, and then I'm going to run one on the ground across, and then 2x4s in between those to support that and lift it up at least a ½ inch to an inch above this beam so I can get that beam out. Alright, the 2x4s are now supporting the overhang from the ground up and supporting the overhang, and lifted the rafters off the beam by about a ½ inch. So now I'm going to cut the beam out and remove it. Yeah, I removed the trim around the bottom of the post, and it turns out the post is completely rotted out. And not only that, but we're seeing a lot of live termites. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to remove this post too, put a metal bracket on the bottom to lift it off the concrete, and then replace the post and then put new trim around it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove this post and remove the beam. We're going to pull the post out while we're holding up the beam. It's not that heavy, and then once the post is out, then I'm going to help support it. We're going to lower the beam down and slide it out from the wall. Okay, what I did is I put a jack down below with a 2x4 up to the header, and then lifted it up about a ½ inch, which then brought the post off the base. So now the post is actually move back and forth. I'm just going to pull that off. So you can see the beam now is loose. It's not connected on the ground on the bottom. So we'll pull it this way. If you pull it this way, good chance you'll torque the beam and maybe loosen this up. So I'm going to pull it out this way. And that's how you remove the leg. Now the 2x4 is holding up the beam, and we'll go ahead and I'll have another guy help support that, and then I'll drop the 2x4 down, and then we'll lower the beam down. And the partition, or actually the supports I already put in yesterday, are holding up the overhang so we can slide in the new beam. Okay, so I'm going to lower this down. You got it? Okay, start bringing it down. Bring it down. You're going to pull a little bit. It's going to have nails in it. Okay. That's why I'll have to cut it with sawzall. So on this one, it's stuck on the back side. Obviously, it's toe-nailed into the framing at the wall. So we're going to sawzall off about 8 inches, 7 inches from the wall, take the beam down, and then we'll split the beam at the wall and pull it out so we can cut the nails off without hurting the wall and without torquing it and messing up sheetrock inside. Okay, so you can see we removed the beam. We cut it off right at the house, and I'm going to use a chisel. You can also use a large screwdriver if you don't have a chisel, and use a smooth hammer, a finishing hammer, so you don't destroy the back of your chisel with a waffle hammer, with a framing hammer. But I'm going to go ahead and try to remove this. I say try, but I will. But you can go ahead and chip it in corners and pieces, and split it because it's nailed on the inside. Once you remove a couple, it'll actually come out pretty simple. You see, I'm just kind of popping in this whole corner. Then you can take and pry against the house. Like this piece is coming out. So this obviously sits in about 3½ inches, which is on the 2x4 inside the wall. Once you get that piece out, other pieces should start coming out fairly simple. So this area was a little bit more of a bear, but we went ahead and recut it, removed some stucco, and we're going to have at least 6 inches of material to sit on, and then we're going to go and put some Simpson straps across that last bit of beam over to the new beam, which will then go across and overhang out on the other side of the barge rafter by about 6 inches, and then get this thing all wrapped back up and stuccoed. Okay, went ahead and put the beam in, and you can see we're holding it up with this 2x4 on the jack, and I've extended it out a little ways with a nice little notch, a 45-degree notch on all 4 sides. And then what we're going to do here is I got 6-inch torque screws going into the existing piece, and then we'll put Simpson straps across before we wrap it in stucco paper and wire and re-stucco it. Okay, if you guys recall, when the post came down that held up the beam, it was all rotted out at the bottom. It didn't have any brackets, so we're going to install this metal bracket, and I'm using this laser down here, and you can see the dot right to the left, and then if you come up to the beam, you can see the dot right there. You see center of the beam. So what we're doing is we're finding the center so we can mount the bracket and put the post in, and then keep it off the ground so it doesn't get termite damage or any dry rot again. Alright, so once you get it drilled out, you vacuum out the hole, and then we've put the bracket down, the metal square plate that comes with the bracket, and then a red head. It's a 1/2 inch by, I think, 4 inch or 5 inch. And so we beat it down at least 3 inches, and we're going to take a sawzall and cut off the excess so that the plate sits over the top. Okay, so we got the post in. You see it goes up to the top, and then the overhang has got a nice little angle cut to it, and then we've got it spliced to the other side, which I'm going to have to do some stucco repair. And the new post is sitting on this bracket, which is a plate up off the ground also, and you can see it from this side. So you can see the post sits up off the concrete on that plate, and then we're going to go ahead and fold this up and then put in 2.5 inch hex screws. Okay, and then securing this post to the beam, I'm using these 4.5 inch hex screws. So you can see they're fairly long. And I'm putting those on all 4 sides. I've already done the other 2 sides. Now that side, and I have 1 side left. Then I'm going to wrap this with a piece of trim. Just make sure that they're set low enough below the surface of the beam so when you put your trim in, if you're using trim, your trim sits flat. Okay, on the replacement of this post to the beam, I put a 2x6 bottom cap around, and then I put a 1x4 around the top. And then you can see over here where the beam ties in, I got the paper on it and stucco wire, and it's ready for stucco. That'll be the next video. Okay, and that's how we replace a beam, rotted beam out that's tied into the corner of a house, and also the post that we ended up not knowing it needed to be changed. But due to the fact it wasn't attached at the bottom anymore, it was rotted out, and it had termites, live termites as you saw in the video. We went ahead and replaced the post also. Used a metal post bracket at the bottom that actually holds it up off the ground about 3/4 inch to 1 inch, and then went ahead and screwed to that with the RGK screws, the hex torque screws, and put that bottom 2x10 cap on it. So again, that's how you change it out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and subscribe if you get a chance. Let me know if you have any other questions or anything that you'd like me to show you. And other than that, I hope you have a nice day. Stay tuned to the next video, which will be doing the stucco patch in the right corner.